Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. We gotta catch up. A lot of arms are hurt. There's one big arm in New York. The position players too. Vladdy got offered $6 bills. No, he didn't. We haven't talked ball. Trace Thompson, 6 homers.
Slanger.
Bo Bichette to right.
Yeah, he gets that.
Caught. Damn. Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball, presented to you by SeatGeek. March 10th. 8 days away from a game that counts. It'll be overseas. You might as well get a ticket to that game, and you might as well use SeatGeek because they are the best in the biz. The MLB season is here. Basketball and hockey are rolling. Concert season is going on. And you can get 10% off with the code TALKIN2025. I'll peel back the curtains a little bit. One of my favorite tournaments is happening this week at Madison Square Garden, the Big East tourney. My Huskies.
Of course.
Yeah, it is. Trev, I'll send you a Insta reel later that has all the, Allen Iverson to Ray Allen, Cardiac Kemba. Anyways, getting tickets off SeatGeek. And I use the code TALKIN2025, and I saved myself 10% off. So you can do that too, whether you've used the code before, whether you haven't used the code before. TALKIN2025, 10% off at SeatGeek. Go check it out. Download the app, punch in the code, save yourself some money. Blue Jays might need to save themselves some money. Coach Trev, my financial advisor, former MLB player, how are you?
I'm doing great, Bob. Yeah. How are your finances right now?
Great.
Really I gotta dive in.
Really good. I'll send over some numbers to you.
Out. No, there is a lot of ball to talk about, and yeah, we've been doing some draft episodes lately. We've been doing whatever it is, but catching up on the news, and unfortunately, a lot of the news today is injury related. But definitely need to talk about everything. I'm excited. I started to think about when spring training comes along, you get in that mode. It's fun. Everyone's having a good time. There's parties, there's charity events, there's concerts, all these things. But ball's about to start. This is about time where guys are over spring training and they're like, can we just put the lights on and go to freaking work? Tokyo.
Yeah.
And then opening day. It's all coming, Pop. And I can't wait to dig into it today with you.
I was texting with Ian Happ a little bit. You owe him a bottle of wine. I
do.
And I was asking him a favor for a warehouse games thing. And he was excited to talk to me, which you never know what you're going to get with Ian Happ. And he was excited to go to Japan. He honeymooned over there. So,
of course he did.
Of course
That's
he
did.
Because he's a man of class and taste.
He's like, I've been to Bora Bora many times.
He didn't say that. Don't quote that. But yeah, and that was just like a whoa, because they're about to get on a plane and do a real flight and get ready to play a baseball game.
Yeah, they must be leaving any day, right? To go over there, get acclimated.
So that's dude, as I start spinning and we start thinking about real baseball more, the Cubs who are in the mix this year. 2 games against the Dodgers. And, the Diamondbacks missed the NL playoffs with 87 last year. So, I don't know. I know not all games are the same, but in a way they are that, I don't know. If you're the Cubbies looking to get off the ground the right way, I think if you lose 2, for either team, if you lose 2 overseas and you're like, what the hell is that? You can wash that pretty easily. But still, it's games that count.
89 for the Diamondbacks last year. And
89 and they didn't dance?
Yeah, the 3-team tie for 89. It was them,
brutal.
The Braves, and the Mets. Do you remember that weird? That was such a weird last
fun day.
A couple teams didn't even play 162 last year. It is interesting because I've talked to guys. I never actually got a chance to go somewhere exotic for opening day, but you talk to guys who do it, and it doesn't seem like real baseball yet. So the stats count. You're juiced up a little bit, but it's not like at your home park at a Major League Baseball field. So it is an interesting thing. I like that we do it, but I really do feel like guys are still like, is this real? Although, to your point, It is. Like
Right.
it counts in the freaking standings, dude.
It's real.
It is real.
Yeah, I like when they do the opening day overseas. I keep getting lost when they do the random Mexico series every year. It feels like, and I don't know. It feels like we don't tune into that game. It feels we open up the Talkin' Baseball document and we're like, oh yeah, Nelson Cruz homer.
30 homers in the game. That's actually my favorite series is when the pitchers start crying about the altitude.
Well, Trev, it's funny you mentioned pitchers crying because that's what this next segment is about a little bit. And we've got a little bit of a gambit to cover because there's 3 big names to 3 different levels of injuries. Gerrit Cole, Grayson Rodriguez, and George Kirby. I unfortunately do think for the Talkin' Baseball program, Gerrit Cole would be what's leading a lot of baseball shows. So sure, you can go listen on Talkin' Yanks when we record tomorrow. But Gerrit Cole has been recommended Tommy John. He is seeking out a second opinion, but I don't know, man. It brings over the whole gambit of questions. Like, okay, even if the second opinion says you might be able to bounce back mid-year, which he actually did last year, what do you even do with that at this point? And Garrett's getting a little older. He's got 4 years left on the contract. So I don't know. There's a lot of questions going on Yankees longer term, I suppose. For me, the bigger thing is, Trev, you know, we've got We Got Ice that work here at John Boy Media, Boston fans who their Boston baseball side has been a little dormant. I mean, I just had on the subway over, I was like, wait, Crochet in, Cole out. That's a really bad start of the formula for my Yanks.
The We Got Ice guys, nicest humans are going to meet. I think, like on the surface they are. Who knows deep down?
I like that.
Especially that guy, Jack Doyle.
Yeah.
I keep a close eye on him.
Yeah.
I think what's going on is they're used to just being loved by their fans. They don't want to get in the streets, the Red Sox, Yankee streets on the internet. That's just not a place where they want to be. And they're smart. Stay away from all that. Yeah, the Gerrit Cole thing, it's paired with the Luis Gil news.
Right.
So to me, like obviously I feel for both those guys, especially Cole, because if he is TJ and left, it's just a long road ahead. Long rehabbing road ahead, and it's not fun. On the Yankees side, I just start to think, where are they going to go? Like, they can't do nothing, man. Like, you can't just go within your organization throughout the year. That's not what they should be doing. Like, they have to look outside. So now you start to think about who are the guys that are available to come in and, not necessarily take Gerrit Cole's place, but fill out that rotation. And it brings me to I guess a couple names. There's guys out there available. Is like Sandy has to be available. Now, Sandy is going to cost a lot because he has a couple years left on a very team-friendly contract. He himself is coming back from an injury, but he's looked good in spring training. Is Jordan Montgomery available? We're about to do the Snakes TPP at some point today. And they got about 7 starting pitchers, and they're not doing a 6-man. So they have a couple guys that are going to be available. So I'm curious. I'm just curious what the next move is. We can only talk about an injury so much. It's like it sucks for Gerrit Cole, sucks for the Yankees. Really sounds like he's seeing Elitrash today to get a second opinion or at some point soon. But if he does end up going under the knife, I think the Yankees have to pivot somewhere. And I do think, as of right now, it takes them away from being the favorites in the AL East. I don't think that's like a hot take or anything. It's just you lost Gerrit Cole, dude, and Luis Gil. So that's where my mind goes: is what's the move for that? I think they have to go get somebody. Are they willing, or do they have enough to go get Sandy? It seems like that would be the move.
Yeah, it starts turning into prospect capital, which they do have some. What are the Marlins looking for? What do they want? And other teams want Sandy. And like we've talked about a little bit, like I would still let Sandy throw a couple games, put up 5 starts to the tune of a 1.5 ERA, and it's like, oh, shoot, Sandy's back. Because he was the bad man. Like, for a year and a half, Sandy was the baddest dude on the mound. That, like, Sandy coming back, it's like, well, he's coming back from Tommy John, how's it going to look? Like, there's none of that if Sandy comes back and it's like, oh, wait, this dude is an absolute freak show. And I know we talked about that a little bit. And then for me, it's the other teams. Like, okay, hey, Marlins, before you trade Sandy, why don't you listen to this? Why don't you listen to this? That they shouldn't be in a rush to trade him just because the Yankees have a need.
No, but I think around baseball, we're going to get to more guys. Like, this is what they're waiting for. Bendix down there in Miami's waiting for injuries. I mean, it sucks. It's an unfortunate part of the game, but that's exactly what he's waiting for.
Right.
Now, could he hold on to his chips a little bit longer and maybe another team enters the race? But I agree with you that teams who haven't lost pitchers are still also in on Sandy. But if you're the Yankees and you're going into the season with World Series aspirations and your ace gets hurt, I think it becomes like you have to be proactive about it. And so this is the time now we're like, hey, what's up? He might sneak a little text to Cash. Hey, how are you? And Cash is like, I know exactly why you're texting me.
Yeah.
It's interesting, man. And again, it doesn't have to be Sandy. That's just the big name out there. If you really wanted to try to go 1-for-1 replacement with Gerrit Cole, that's where you go. You bring in Jordan Montgomery and it's nice, but it's not the same. And again, we talked about Luis Hill. He's got a right lat strain, supposed to be out 3 months. Those things are interesting. He'll be back at some point this year, so you can just bank on that. But they gotta do something, Pop. Doing nothing is crazy.
It sure is. And I guess my concern is that that's where they're going to go. Because a couple weeks ago, the Yankees had depth and where they were going to trade Marcus Stroman this offseason. They lose their one and probably their 3-4 starter in Heel. You're talking the 23 Cy Young winner and then last year's Rookie of the Year. Major dent to the Yankees. I'm worried they're not going to Audible. Again, Marcus Stroman now enters the rotation. So, hey, a little Yankees-esque problem. Marcus Stroman started the year very strong last year. In the past couple seasons, he started very strong. And Marcus Stroman benefits when there's a good defense behind him. And the whole world got to see what the Yanks were working with defensively last year. So there's optimism there. Will Warren is a prospect for them who his stuff has changed and evolved, that people passed the John Boy eye test. Last year we went to spring training and he said that slider gets hit. This year at spring training he said it doesn't. So that's my scout. That's my QB1. So I don't know. I guess my fear is the Yankees haven't shown that they're the big budget Yanks. Like, part of the reason they were supposed to trade Stroman was to get under the last salary tax threshold. So they're still over that. And then, like, if you're talking Sandy or someone else, okay, so Jordan Montgomery, let's say the cost is almost on the house. You got to pay his $25 million, figure it out, and maybe even the D-backs or whoever cut into that. Now the Yankees are heading $20-25 million over that tax threshold. So I'm worried they're going to sit and wait. And the other thing I'm worried about is, dude, we're talking about the World Series. Yankees did get embarrassed by the World Series, and their path wasn't the toughest. We'll let people worry about that. The year before that, the 2023 Yankees missed the playoffs, and they had Willie Calhoun hitting third and playing the outfield, where I don't know if he should be doing that. I know Willie's your guy.
I love Willie.
I hope Willie,
I know where you're going. That's fine.
I think
Willie be like, yeah, I probably shouldn't hit third on the Yankees.
I hope Willie grasps on somewhere, locks down a 7-hole, and has a beautiful
I believe he's
year.
did he go to Japan or Korea?
Not
He
sure.
went to one of those.
I haven't been keeping up.
Possibly the Mexican League. I saw it on his Instagram.
It's things have gotten a lot more interesting in the AL East, and I guess the attachment to that. Well, you mentioned Luis Hill. We haven't even talked Giancarlo Stanton, which I don't want it to get too Yankee, and I guess it's people shouldn't be shocked, but he's having some serious both elbows with severe tendon injuries. So that doesn't sound good for one of the most guys with the biggest injury history recently in baseball.
Yeah, he said he did it making bat adjustments in the offseason, so I don't know if that was like length and weight of your bat, or he's talking like batting stance. I didn't really understand that. Do you have more clarity on that?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Because like if you just say bat adjustments, that means you change the length and the weight or the shape of your bat. That doesn't mean like you would say.
You keep talking like this, I'm gonna get a boner.
About weight and length,
length, and shape of your bat. Come on, man. You keep saying it. I'm getting a little rowdy.
Where you're going
over
this
here.
morning? Okay, I'm always there, Pop. I live there.
You are.
Yeah. I mean, so the Stanton stuff for me, I understand. You know, it's not ideal and it's kind of a strange sounding injury, but because he has kind of been on the shelf quite often, it doesn't really, you know, go crazy for me. Like I think the Yankees have understood like, yeah, we need him for a certain part of the season and it's really not April. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, it sounds like it's kind of a serious thing going on. So hopefully he figures that out. But yeah, I think the pitching stuff is more prevalent and more, you know, real for the Yankees right now.
Yeah. And just, I guess the other thought starter for everyone else and for your team this spring training is like, what has happened? Because, okay, team aside, the Yankees have lost their DH, who Giancarlo had like a 114 WRC plus last year and was a postseason like icon. Yep. Lost their 1, they lost their 4, and that's ignoring a couple other bullpenish and things like that. But yeah, I think the outlook of the AL East has really changed, and another part of that is Grayson Rodriguez is down for now. Right tricep soreness and elbow inflammation will start the year on the IL. Cortisone shot coming. His velo was down. Got banged up last year with right lat and shoulder. So yeah, there's a quote that it's not ligament, but I don't know. We're talking about similar stuff that a guy went through previously, and I don't know, man. Like this guy was supposed to be the guy. Like, you know, Grayson Rodriguez was the top pitching prospect. He came up. Everyone saw the tools. And with the other moves the Orioles have made, I think they're viewing pitching differently. But if you have high hopes for the Orioles, I think this guy has to be a significant part of it.
Yeah, I think if you're drinking the Kool-Aid, which a lot of people are, I think, yeah, you expect him to, in his age, 25 season, to kind of continue to build on what was a decent year last year, only 116 and 2/3 innings pitched, but like he made some strides. So you're expecting another jump. And now here we are, talking about some elbow and some triceps. Again, as you mentioned, I said no ligament damage. And I think they're in a little bit, I guess, better spot with kind of where they're at in the rotation, obviously because they didn't lose 2 guys. So right now it's going to be Eflin, Morton, Sugano, and Kremer, and then they have to figure out that last spot. It could be Suarez, could be Povich. And then there's the guys that are out there. And looking now at more names, they don't really seem, I don't even know why I'm saying this, they don't really seem like Yankee names, but like our guy Gibby's still out there. I'm looking at the names right now. Obviously Montgomery, Lance Lynn, Taijuan Walker. Maybe those do sound like Yankee names.
I think Big Ty likes the city.
Maybe they do sound. But so I think the Orioles will probably stay in the house and just get our guy Suarez. Again, it's still shocking that his brother's Robert. And it's just I never will get over that. So I think they're going to be okay. And it sounds like, that's not going to be like a super long-term thing for him. And yeah, they need to be at full strength. I mean, they're in that window, and, not only are they dealing with Grayson, they're dealing with Gunnar Henderson has a intercostal thing, which is the tendon in between your ribs. I've pulled that before, and that is not fun. Again, there's nothing you can do except just wait it out and hope it heals correctly. But I hate when we get spring training injuries. It actually bums me out. I'm trying to have a fun, upbeat episode today and just get people what are people doing right now at the gym, in their car, driving to work, trying to entertain people. But all this news is so sad, Jake. It's like,
well, it's
how do you dress it up?
Trev, it's not for Boston fans or Rays fans.
Boston fans are just like,
I know, Trev, you mentioned, we talked about it before we went on, and you mentioned a little bit, Twitter's just turned into this crazy hostile war zone where it's nice when you can sneak in some good baseball combos, but there was a time when it was, if a player on the opposing team got hurt, like that was kind of a yellow alert on X because it's going to be like, you're not celebrating my guy getting hurt, right? And it's like, well, I don't know. If you're a Red Sox fan, if Cole, Heel, and Stanton and Grayrod and Gunnar are hurt, that's you can be a little excited, not about the guys getting hurt, but for your team's outlook.
Keep it in, though.
Right.
Because once you put it out there, the baseball god's like, oh, what are you doing? We have a guy at our company that's made some silly tweets. Max Manus putting out there about Clay Holmes being the Mets 4 starter, and then Manaea gets hurt. Now he's the 3 starter. He put that out into the world, Jake.
Right.
And then 2 of his pitchers are now on the shelf, and he's getting dragged.
Yeah.
You just can't put that out there, okay? So if you are a Red Sox fan or a Rays fan, don't forget about those Rays, who might be for sale.
Yeah, how about
being
that?
Forced to sell. That's another story. Keep it in. Keep it inside. You can be happy for your team, but don't celebrate other injuries. I'm not about that life. How about that?
That's fine. I think the other.
Don't tell me how to live, Trav. Shut up.
He's my financial and life advisor. You guys all back off. The other 2 that have popped up, our guy George Kirby for Seattle. It does seem like this one they are playing a little safer, and seems a little safer. Right shoulder inflammation, no structural damage, day to day, week to week. This has been one of the bigger Emerson Hancock programs in the world, so he might get his opening day roster dreams coming true. Let's keep updated on that because George Kirby at his best is one of the best in baseball. And then, dude, the one that broke at the buzzer last night, as we were already planning on talking about injuries, Francisco Alvarez, which, I forgot how much Mets fans are banking on him kind of at least being this elite hitting catcher coming into this season, and they should have reason to believe that. Gonna miss 6 to 8 weeks. And I think the other overlying thing with that as part of this whole conversation, Trev, you might have even seen me cringe a little bit when you said Luis Gil is a lock to come back. If you get hurt and you miss spring training, I mean, pitchers are their own beast, and if you want to drag them a little more, I'll let you go on that. Like, if you're not built up from that spring training, there's a lot of times it just doesn't happen. Hitters, I think it's different because you're getting healthy, but it's catching up. Paul O'Neill talks about it on some of the broadcasts where he's like, yeah, there's a couple times that happens, and it feels like you're trying to jump on a moving train. And whether that's just symbolic of where the team is at, or, at that part of the season, our pitchers just a little more fine-tuned. Like they know their stuff at that time of year that they can. I don't know. It's an interesting thought process, and let's see what goes on with Francisco Alvarez. But a tough blow for the Mets, who Luis Torrens at catcher, and then I don't know.
They've had some injuries in their staff. Montas and Manaea out, which is, obviously it's not great for the Mets. It's not great for their season outlook. 6 to 8 weeks with the hamate stuff. That's such an interesting injury because it really is. I think it's unique to baseball.
Ooh.
It's basically like right under your thumb. There's like a little hook bone that.
Interesting.
If you hold the bat, like a lot of guys will want to get extra leverage on the bat. I never understood that. Just get a longer bat. But a lot of guys will place their palm over the knob of their bat.
Right.
And there's all sorts of stuff going on now. There's no knob bats. There used to be the big flared knob. I don't know if you remember that at all. That was pretty interesting. Little counterbalance. Yeah, there it is. So if I'm not sure if Francisco Alvarez does that or not, because you don't have to hang it over to get that injury. But a lot of times that's what will happen. The knob will just kind of crank on that until you get a chip in there. Then you can't swing at all. So that one's a tough one. And as far as coming back during the season from an injury, I think what I learned is you have to just take your time, which sucks. And everything from outside influence to your own brain, and you want to come back as fast as possible.
Right.
You're like, dude, I'm not trying to waste a year. I'm trying to put up numbers. Like, I'm trying to be out there helping my team. But the truth is, like, you got to go make sure you're feeling good. You cannot replicate game speed no matter what in the cage. You just can't. So you have to go play rehab games. And even then, the minor leagues is not the same as the big leagues. So you just can't. It is a little bit. I like Paul O'Neill saying it's like a moving train because there's just nothing like it. Like you just can't get game speed even at the minor league level. You can play AAA games and do all these things. It's not the same. Like the adrenaline just isn't there.
Right.
And so you get back, and I think that's why a lot of guys come back and they get hurt again is your adrenaline spikes. You're moving so much faster that you haven't tested it out at that speed. Like if you're like, I would come back from calf injuries or hamstring and you're running, you're sprinting as fast as you freaking can, on a backfield somewhere. It's just not the same as here's the game. Oh, there's a pass ball, or here's a ball to my left. I got to move. And it's just, you can't replicate it. So to all these guys, just take your time as much as you're, telling yourself get back as quick as possible. It's just not the way to do it, man.
Whew. Yeah, the Mets have had it. What's going on in New York, baby?
Yeah, what is going on in New York?
Mania Montas, you've seen me the last 24 hours. I'm a disaster.
You have been. Yesterday, you were on one. Today is you need to get through today, Pop.
Dude, I've got a grindy day, bro.
I know you sent me your schedule, and yesterday we were trying to lighten your load a little bit. Maybe that's what you need. You couldn't turn your laptop on, so we couldn't record some TVPs. I was out here ready to go. I came home from a birthday party early to record with you, and Jake could not get his laptop to turn on.
Emotional day. Only the caps lock button worked, which I wouldn't say makes that a fully functioning laptop. I forget if we mentioned
a preeminent internet company, and we can't get a laptop.
I think I talked to Finance Tony this morning. I think some things are going to get done. Andrew Kittredge, I forgot if we mentioned him on the way through with the Orioles. He was a big signing for them. 1 year, $10 million. Arthroscopic left knee surgery. Expected to miss a couple months. And again, that final speech we wrapped up on, like, okay, Andrew Kittredge not going to really have a spring training. He's going to, again, I think for pitchers, if you're healthy, and especially like a left knee, like, okay, Kittredge, go get built up, do your version of a spring training in June or whatever it is, and then we'll see you. But 1 year, $10 million for a reliever, Trev. To get that kind of money, you got to be a dude, and that was part of Baltimore's. If you're on the Baltimore bounce back this year, you're like, whoa, Kittredge, Bautista on the back end. That's different.
Yeah, that was their plan. Kittredge, Cano, and Bautista, getting them back and kind of handing the ball to them at the end of the games, and lose a starter for a little bit, lose one of your high leverage relievers. There's going to be some pivots. I think I'm interested in that. Those are three teams with obviously playoff aspirations, like true playoff aspirations, and there are players available. I'm curious. I'm like, where's Gibby back on the Orioles? Put him back there. Where's my guy going? I kind of like him. I kind of like him and Steve Cohen in the same room. What would they talk about? Like, what would Gibby and Steve Cohen? I don't think they have anything in common.
Send the Gibby text.
Maybe they'd find common ground.
Send the Gibby text. Well, it's like a good steak, maybe.
Right, let's see. I'm gonna text Gibby right now and say, where are you going? Yankees, Baltimore. I
like that a lot. And the other thing I like about Kyle Gibson is he is him. And what's that? Hims. Today's episode is sponsored by Hims. Life is stressful. You just heard me talk about my last 24 hours. Your team might have injuries. Who knows what else you got going on. The last thing you want to worry about is your performance in the bedroom. Hims provides access to treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer, giving you the boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes. Hims is changing men's healthcare by providing you with access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your couch. 100% online. Easy.
No stigma, guys.
Start your free online visit today at hims.com/talkin. HIMS.com/talkin for your personalized ED treatment options. The products mentioned are chewable, compounded products which are not approved by or verified for safety and effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Prices vary based on product and subscription plan.
I have a request from Hims or our sales team. At one point, I got sent a package of stuff from them. I'd like another one.
Oh. Okay.
Just saying. That's it.
We can
just send me something.
Rob, talk to our people. Thumbs up from Rob Shirago.
Yeah, let's give me. Yeah, come on.
Trev. Real Talkin' baseball fans are going to be excited.
Where are you going
for
with
a
this?
second? Because something that I think we should note. But again, real day ones are going to be hype. Lawrence Butler gets extended by Oakland, which we love.
Love that.
Lawrence Butler broke out last year. The A's have had to spend some money somewhere because of some CBA kind of nonsense, and everything that's going on with the Athletics is insane. Hard hit rate, third best on breaking balls for the kid. Normally that's what you're worried about with the youngins. So that's for Athletic fans, 7-year, $65.5 million, with a $20 million club option coming after that. Awesome for Lawrence Butler. Trev, do you want to tell them, for the real Talkin' baseball fans, why this is big news?
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure where you're going. First of all, yeah, we love El Butt, and people are like, "What? He's worth way more than." Dude, this is taking him through pre-arb and arbitration. I think it takes away 1 year, maybe 2 years of free agency. He'll be a free agent again at 31. This is a deal. Josh Willingham once told me, never turn down your first fortune. This guy, that's all he's ever going to need. Okay. He's going to go play stress-free baseball. Now he'll probably get better. And then, yeah, if he wants to cash in at 31 again, he can. So I do love this deal. The reason you're saying it is because my best friend, no offense, Jake,
fine,
both in wedding parties since we were freshmen in high school, Ollie Linton is his agent, and we're very excited for our guy. Winston Oliver Linton Jr. actually named Teddy's middle name after him.
Wow.
Yeah. It's my guy.
Best bunter,
shout out Ollie.
Best bunter you've ever seen?
Dude.
Yeah.
We would bunt back and forth. We have a band together called the Penguins. He plays the drums. I was guitar and bass. Big time. This is awesome. Ollie's been at CAA for quite a while now. He's really making a mark. He's like the guy.
He's kind of the guy.
He's kind of the guy.
He's
chopping it up. He's always with CC. I'm trying to be friends with CC. Ollie, not you.
Ollie's kind of alphaing everyone. Yeah.
Still me a little bit.
That bankroll's changing. So congrats to Athletic fans. It's going to be a wild couple years. Let's just buckle up for all of that. Trev, the one that I'm pretty juicy about, and you have some eyebrows raised, but Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's going to be one of the storylines of this season, last year of his contract. Hey, we in that injury segment before, we mentioned the Sox and the Rays being happy. The Jays fans, a team that a good 2 months could change the whole organization's outlook for, I don't know, Trev, 14 years. We got rumors from Vladdy's camp that they wanted 14 years, $600 million, which, okay, we've talked about it on this show, and Vladdy's an interesting case, like everyone, but he has shown peak baseball potential, one of the best right-hand hitters in the game. He's going to hit free agency at an early age. People listening, you know the formula by now, that he has a chance to break the bank. The interesting part with Vladdy is first base, but I don't know. He can play first base, and Juan Soto, his defensive prowess in the outfield wasn't what got him hundreds of millions of dollars, which he said he got bigger offers. We'll talk about that in a second. I don't know, Juan.
I think Juan might be fibbing a little bit.
I guess for me, if Vladdy's demanding that number, and you and I, actually, Trev, you and I talked at a bar in Jersey City, and you said something like, dude, Vladdy, if they throw the money at you, sign. And I was like, dude, if you're Vladdy, hit free agency and make everyone. And then you said, if Toronto offers him $500 million, and I kind of looked at you like, yeah, right?
Well, that was the number that Carlos Baerga was throwing out there. So it's interesting. Yeah, everyone says, yeah, go reach free agency. But if you're happy somewhere and you do, a lot of guys that play still want to play for one team their entire career. That is, I think it's appealing. I wish I would have done it. I'm happy I got to go in different organizations and meet people, but I think ultimately I think everybody dreams about being in one organization for their entire career. Just especially a guy like Vladdy. Then you're talking like Ring of Fame, Hall of Fame of the Blue Jays, and whatever. Like you can really set yourself up with a franchise. I think it'll be really cool for him. Now, yeah, I mean the numbers are interesting. He says under 600. What does that mean? He says he wants 14. The quote is interesting. I'll read the quote from Vladdy. I know the business. I lowered the salary demands a bit, but also lowered the number of years. I'm looking for 14 years. It's a long time, Vladdy. I would like 14, 15, even 20 if they give them to me, but I'm doing it the right way. So he wants a long-term deal. So Jake, as you know, I was crunching some numbers on the calculator. 14 years.
Right.
And we want to get to that 5 number, basically. That's what I think. 14 years, 37 and a half a year, which, I think that's, maybe we get there, $525 million. I think that gets the job done. I really do. They say they offered him, Guerrero, he confirmed the Blue Jays offered him a $340 million extension early in the offseason. So that's got to be like a 8-year deal, right?
Right.
All right, I'm done math. 340 divided by 8 puts him at 42. So maybe it was even less or more years. Maybe that was a 9-year deal.
Maybe it was a 20-year deal.
It could have been a 20-year deal. I'm interested. Yeah, but I think if the Blue Jays do put the money out there and it sounds like he wants to be there. And again, this is just remember this from now on. When guys say we're going to stop negotiations at the beginning of the season, they don't mean that at all. At all.
Right.
Imagine if someone was like, yeah, I'm going to give you, like, they're willing to give you, obviously, $340 million. That's what they've already offered you. You're going to take the phone call. Right. I don't care who you are. Like, you're going to sit down and be like, okay,
your agent just says, no, not today.
No.
Not today.
No, you keep talking. It's such bullshit. Like an arbitrary cutoff date. That's. I don't want it to be a focus on the. Guess what, bro? Whether you want it to be a focus or not, doesn't matter. Of course, the baseball world's going to talk about it. You can't tell reporters not to ask you something. Like it's silly. So I'm curious. I'm curious where it goes. Vladdy. If it's his baseball savant page is absolutely hilarious. Even in his down years, and this is what a lot of people were talking about, and we questioned Vladdy, like, hey, who are you, man, as a player? Right. Even his down years, all the peripherals are excellent. Like he hits the shit out of the ball. He squares the ball up. Like he's everything that you want in a hitter. Now, yeah, the defensive position, whatever, it's first base. It's not great, but he's going to demand, just because of his age and the couple of seasons he's put out there, he's going to demand. I'm guessing in the 5s, man. Like that to me, that seems right.
Well, and I think the interesting game for the Blue Jays at this point is what would Vladdy actually sign? Like you're saying that 525. If they put that contract in front of Vladdy, does he sign that today?
I don't think they give him 14 years though. I think he's got to come down there.
Yeah, I mean years get tricky, and the deferrals have thrown everyone off. That years are years at this point. That if you sign Vladdy to whatever contract, you're looking at the next decade and then survive whatever's left.
Do you think you're running a team?
Sure.
Like I feel like 10 years. Let's just go 10, round number. Okay. Like 40 a year. That's a lot of money, man.
It's a lot of money.
$400 million. That's not enough for Vladdy? That seems crazy to me.
Hey, you're my don't bring a salary cap in baseball. If Vladdy does what he did.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying
If Vladdy,
40 seems like a good number for a guy that's a bat guy.
If Vladdy does what he did last year, he's getting above that. And
Juan Soto got $800 million.
Is it Uncle?
People don't talk about that enough.
I think we might a little bit.
I don't think
Juan
so.
Soto's talking about it.
In my mind, everyone still thinks, oh, Shohei got this massive deal. Shohei's deal is a fucking steal.
Yeah.
It's not. Present day value, $440 million. Juan Soto's present day value, $800. Double Shohei.
Yeah. Maybe we don't talk about that.
What are the Dodgers doing?
Gosh. They just brought in Snell and Kirby Yates. Who cares? You can throw the seventh. Dodgers. Yeah, again, he's going to be one of the storylines of the season. Things go south in the Great North. It becomes the whole, do you trade him? Do you not?
Great North?
Yeah. Do you trade him? Do you not trade him? I don't know. For me, and I tweeted this out that I was like, if I'm the Blue Jays, I'm thinking about it. Again, you'd love to know where everyone's actual lines are. But then some Blue Jay fans were like, man, we're okay. So we wanted to throw $700 million at Soto. We wanted to throw $700 million at Ohtani. So now if Vladdy is one of those guys, which I would bet that, like, I don't think
he's on pace with those guys. I don't.
Ohtani's in a different world.
I think Soto's in a different world than Vladdy as well. I truly do. I truly do.
Do you think Vladdy could put together 90% of what Soto does for the next 8 years,
90?
decade?
I mean,
the
no.
Vladdy combo's true. You're
no.
The numbers would say that's the safer answer. If he runs back next year, it changes his whole trajectory. That I guess that would be the other thing in my head if I'm the Blue Jays, that if Vladdy runs 2022, which is probably his third best year, he had an 818 OPS. Like, the numbers change. So I would just roll the ball out there.
I'm trying to think of like a comparable hitter.
But dude, if you lose him,
who's a comparable hitter that has,
like
Vladdy career, obviously
Matt Wallner,
a couple huge years, but 863 OPS. Great.
Right.
I feel like there's a bunch of 860 OPS guys that aren't looking for $500 million.
I guess for me, if you do from 2021, because 2020 and 2019, he was 20 years old and 21.
Sure.
So if you do it from 2021, it's an 887 OPS.
Okay.
And again, we're thinking that I think the general thinking is there's more in there. Like, I think he can be a 900 OPS guy. I don't know. It gets tricky, right?
I'm looking at like people. Okay. Ketel Marte, older.
Right.
815 OPS. He's got a 5-year, $76 million deal, and this guy's one of the most electric players in all of baseball. Like, are they that far off in ability?
Well, he has one of the best contracts, team friendly in baseball. And
I guess that's a bad example.
Yeah.
My bad.
It's okay. don't get down on yourself.
Yordan Alvarez. Okay. Career 973. Yeah. Took a 6-year 115. So, like, I want Vladdy to reach for the stars. Do not take this the wrong way. But, like, also, the more and more I think about it, I'm like, that's insane to ask for that. It's just the age.
Well, and Trev, again, I do think he's a better all-around hitter, but how did Pete Alonso?
And Yordan Alvarez?
No. I'm acknowledging your Yordan part. I do think part of his arb got bought out. Like, that wasn't, I don't know. Look at Pete Alonso's free agency. I know it's apples and oranges a little bit, but Pete had kind of a down year. If Vladdy has kind of a down year, you could potentially be talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, which I don't think a lot of people want to touch that, but that's why we're different, bro.
I think that is the story. Like if he goes out and he crushes it,
Mm.
has a in the nines somewhere this
Yes.
year, stays healthy, does all that stuff. Hey, my caps lock button is on. That's weird.
Don't.
That's simulation stuff.
Don't.
Then I can see him reaching for it, hitting free agent at the perfect time. I'm young. I think people want bats still. I think.
Right.
Like that's the whole other part to this is like, what are people willing to pay? $340 from the Blue Jays, but that's just because he's in-house and they're facing a very pivotal moment in their franchise history right now. That doesn't mean because he's worth that much to the Blue Jays doesn't mean he's worth that much to a different franchise. The more and more we talk about it, the more and more fascinated I am with where it actually ends up. Hey, listen, my true feeling on this is I hope he gets $500 million. I hope he gets whatever he wants, dude. I love that he's like a legacy player. Seems like a great guy. I haven't heard anything negative about him. He's working his ass off to get into shape. I love his swing. Like there's a lot of things to like about the guy. You and Vladdy Sr. like boys. Right. So I'm hoping that. I'm also just curious to see where it ends up because this sport is littered with a bunch of comparable contracts that or players that didn't get $500 million.
Right.
Like Yordan Alvarez what is Yordan Alvarez? A top 5 hitter, top 3 hitter?
Top 5 hitter I think is pretty safe.
I will go. Let's Judge Soto him.
Yeah, I mean it's like where's everyone at with Trout? Like
he's not there anymore.
Did you say Shohei? Like pretty damn good.
I think I'd take Yordan over Shohei. I think.
Like what are Bobby Witt and Gunnar?
Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah.
The point
I get what you're saying, but
he's in that mix. But I think they bought out like Arbier, so it's not a true free agency for Yordan.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a true free agency. They did buy out some of his free agent years.
Yeah.
And those are valued. He valued those at 26.8.
Never turn down your first fortune.
Cuban ball players, baby.
One of the bigger storylines of this season. We'll keep an eye on it as it goes. I do think we have some fun notes to end on, and it's all brought to us by DraftKings. Make sure you guys go to the DraftKings Sportsbook. NBA season is rolling. Baseball season is here. If you've been listening to the TPPs, we do the over-under every episode. We've locked in a couple. And right now, all new customers who bet just $5 will get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you use code TALKIN. So whatever you're looking into, they've got a ton of NBA player props because they're the home of NBA player props. Bong. Code TALKIN. $5 on any wager will get you $150 in bonus bets instantly for new customers. Code TALKIN at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Trev, do you have your DraftKings King of the Week for me?
I do, and I think we have two guys on the same team. I'm going with my guy, PCA. On second base, 0-2, 2 out. So he's getting a nice little lead here. Ball gets by the catcher. He is home before they even pick the ball up, Jake.
Yeah.
I watched that, and I was like, there's no way he was on second base. He was on second base. Watch this, dude. Like, he even slows down a little bit and then turns the Jets on, and he's going to be so fun to watch, man. I think he's got incredible potential, especially I feel like in today's game, his skills are appreciated maybe a little bit more because we have, the disengagement rule, so stolen bases are up. I think obviously his defense and center is kind of like off the charts. So you just put him out there and just kind of like let him do his thing. I think that's the coolest thing for a baseball player if they're just like, hey, go do your thing, bro. They don't even like, he has to put up numbers, obviously, but he's out there to cause havoc on the base pass and go defend and take away extra base hits in the outfield. Like, that's what he does.
His bat has a little pop in it, like more than you'd think. And he's just a nice guy.
He's so funny, dude. He works out. I don't think he works out with any other baseball players. He goes to this like gym in Venice, which is like outside, and he's wearing like Chuck tees and like jeans to work out. He's a menace.
Some guys are different.
He's different.
Hey, and people probably wonder if we're like sucking up to the league or anything, but man, a guy like PCA, even 5 years ago, it would be like, okay, yeah, we're gonna put him out there. He's gonna play some defense. He'll swipe some bags, but if the pop doesn't come, like blah blah blah. Like I think in today's baseball, where the base running knob has been turned up, and the way he can play defense, that even if the bat doesn't land in a tier or two up, like that's a useful ball player, and that's someone that people should be watching play baseball because he's electric.
He's gonna be like one of the kids, the youth third players, because he's got style and
we're dyeing the hair.
He's just electric on the field. Yeah, he's a guy that people will gravitate towards. I got my finger on the pulse of the youth. That sounds weird, but that does sound weird. I'm a youth coach, so I see. I'm always asking who do you guys like, man? Tatis is still like almost one of the number one answers. Right. Mookie, Shohei. I mean, I'm in LA, so they love all the Dodgers and stuff. But PCA is going to be one of those guys.
You know what? For my King of the Week, Rob, let's watch the Brent. Well, it's not the Brent Rooker video. It is because you're a golf guy. MLB, we're making content, babe, and that's what we're all about. That I did like this video that MLB posted on their socials. A little, what would you say? It's a whip around.
I'm passing the phone to another guy from Tennessee with a broken golf swing.
What's up, guys? It's Brent Rooker. I'm passing the phone to the guy who's the nastiest on the mound.
What's up, everybody? It's Paul Skeens, and I'm passing the phone to the best to ever do it.
Hey, this is Mike Trout, and I'm passing this phone to my favorite influencer, Bryce Harper.
Okay, so a couple things of note. Brent Rooker clearly wasn't told that Mookie was just going to throw him under the bus.
No, he was like smiling. Yeah, I'm happy to be a part of this crew. This is like the guy,
right?
like guys of Major League Baseball. Brent Rooker is part of that. Love that for Brent. But yeah, he's just naive to the fact that Mookie's calling him out.
Mookie with the full-blown dunk, a
broken golf swing. That's about as harsh of an insult as you can get as a guy.
What's up, guys? It's Brent Rooker. I'm passing the phone to the guy
who's happy to be here.
That's tough. And then Skeens, good. Yep, sure. Sometimes Skeens' look is pretty. The next year, Paul's gonna have it fully locked, but the beard sometimes throws me off.
He needs to get it going a little bit. Hire a stylist, maybe. He would, if you said that around him, he'd just choke you out.
Yeah,
immediately.
Massive. It's not bad. It's just it's happening. Paul Skeens is gonna look at that picture in 3 years and be like, "What was I doing?" And that's okay.
Yeah, he's just grinding right now, bro. He's in it. He's like, I'm gonna be the best pitcher of all time, and that's all he's worried about. And then eventually he'll be like, okay, hold on.
And what the hell was that Mike Trout image at?
No, that was first thing I thought about. Like Mookie is hilarious, but Mike Trout, like, you should have done it again. It's a bad take.
Mike Trout, and I'm passing this phone to my favorite.
He's like on some backfield and like, hey Mike, can you come over here and just do this real quick? And he's like, what? He's reading it. You don't have to read it, Mike. That's just like one sentence.
For whatever reason, for everyone taking selfie videos, his angle was a little off.
It's early. You can tell he's like barely had coffee.
Okay. Because I was about to say it had like guy that got separated from the bachelor party energy. That's like, oh, dude, I'm outside this Dunkin' right now. I just charged my phone. I'll be back at the house in like 35 minutes.
He's like, why are we doing base running drills right now? Ugh, I hate spring training. That's what that look is like. A little dehydrated, like needs, probably a little cup of Joe. Yeah. Might
be a good landing spot for Vladdy next year.
The admin that's running this for the Angels was too scared to be like, Mike, you zooed that. Oh. Can we do it again?
You can't say that to Mike Trout. You cannot say that to Mike Trout. A guy we talked about for a decade as the best player in baseball. And then
he got his flowers from Paul Skeens there. I like that a lot.
It's nice. Give me a big Mike Trout year. Give me a big baseball year. Thank you to everyone. Sorry about all the injury stuff, but I guess that's part of the gig. We will be back Wednesday, which is a week away from baseball. Wow, I stink. Tough 24 for me.
I was gonna say you and Mike Trout have a similar
Yeah,
look right now.
Similar. We both like the weather. We both like baseball.
You can see the sun rising in my video because it was dark when we started, and now I'm getting blasted.
Pulse of the youth.